Hello and welcome to another video on Life on Choose. Today we're going to be replacing our valve spring on our engine.
Okay, we have a broken valve spring under here. So we will start by taking off the rocker cover. We're going to try and do this job without removing too much. This is the oil feed to the rocker. These are your rockers here. This is your rocker shaft. And this pipe is the oil feed that feeds the oil to them. I've got to be careful not to drop the washer down inside in a minute when this lets go. Not the best of tools for doing the job, but it's what we have. Before we do that, what we might do is try and find TDC so that we know that the piston is at the top. Don't know if there's any pointer on the engine to denote TDC. Right, we'll go through a cycle of the engine. That was probably number one TDC then. Yeah, inlet is now starting to open. Drawing the air into the inlet. This one here is the one that's broken. That's the exhaust. Right, so that's exhausted. Inlet again. Let's go the other way a minute. It's just... We know the compression's good, that's for sure. That feels somewhere about TDC. That's not what we want to happen. Definitely not what we want to happen. The follower came up with a push rod. Now I can't see to put it back in. Which is a pain in the butt. There we go, got it. Right, I might leave that one there. What I will do is put this rag in here, so if we drop underneath here, we've got these little delicate chuppies, which we don't want to lose. Little tool that I've made and have used in the past, put it over the top of there. Hopefully it might be small enough and we'll be able to find some way of pushing down to release those two collets, one either side. Hoping this is going to give me enough leverage. Not sure this is going to work. A lot of travel on that valve. Okay, if I push it there, right, that's TDC there then. There we go, let's release them. Right, now I'm going to have to get my torch and a and then level that. Try a different lever. Different tool, same principle. Maybe a little bit too tall, this one, but we'll see. Yep, definitely.
Bit awkward then, isn't it?
It is a little, because it's slipping a bit, as you can see. That is Paulie Zander coughing in the background. Now you can see definitely just how broken that spring is.
God, I thought it would just have a small fracture in it, but God, that is bad.
Yeah, probably broken. Nice new one. Looking at it, what maybe I should have done also is bought a couple of valve spring oil seals, but never mind, too late now. Check for damage on top of there, there's nothing there, which is good. Bring these collets a little bit closer. This may be a bit fiddly.
What does the collet do again?
I will show you. That's the collet. It has a little ridge in it, and they're tapered shaped. So they sit inside of there, and on the shank of the valve there's a groove that the collet sits into. And the pressure of the spring holds the collet into the tapered hole in the top of this retainer, stopping it from releasing. Potentially with a broken spring it could jump out. I had one happen to me many years ago on a car that I used to have. It jumped out and the valve was just popping up and down on top of the piston and acting like a pop-up valve. Engine still ran, just.
For
some reason this doesn't want to go down far enough. What's going on? Why is that happening? Okay, let's try another way. Need my torch. Don't fall down through the hole. Gosh, can't believe that collet just dropped straight in there. There's one in there. As you can see, it sits wonky when there's one in there. So now I've got to try and get it to turn around so I can get the second one in. Back in there. It's trouble, every time I put that there, it blocks my bloody vision. It's creating shadows everywhere. It's not good. Not videoing, are you? Videoing? Modified this, put a bit of tape on there, hopefully try and stop it being so slippery, because I'm struggling to push it down and hold at the same time. So fingers crossed this won't be so slippery. That's better. No, not quite. It's not pushing down evenly. My hand keeps getting in the way of the light.
That's not...
Right, that is in there with a new spring, and the collets are seated. Perfect. Spot on. Exactly what we wanted. Now, turn my light off. Let's reassemble. Inlet cap, exhaust cap, push rod for exhaust, nothing like in its hole. There we go, that's more like it. Inside just to make sure it's in the follower. Yep, and the bottom of the follower. What about this one? Yep, and the follower. All looking good. Now, there is a correct torque setting for all of these bolts, but we're just demonstrating what can be done with basic tools when needs be. Obviously, had to use adjustable on here because you can't get a socket that we have onto there, but we have a socket for this one, so we can do this up with a socket. We know roughly how tight they need to be. Now, got a fair bit of movement there, not too much there. Now what we'll do is we'll take this over a bit. There. We'll need to run this because the valve will have carbon underneath it, and it'll need to be run for a little bit to burn the carbon off before we can do a final adjustment on the tappets, which are these here. Just a quick basic demonstration of what you need to do. If I can get a flat blade screwdriver, you'll slacken off the nut, which I don't think it's going to do with that, so I'll slacken it off with this. And what you do is you can tighten that down. Now, as you see, there's no adjustment on there whatsoever, which is wrong, because you need to allow for expansion of all this metal when it warms up, when the engine's running. So you need to, when it's cold, they need to be set so that they have a gap. There is a correct gap for this, but again, I'm not going to worry about that for a minute because I need to run the engine to rebed in the valve, because of the broken spring there will be a carbon build-up underneath it. So with a bit of running, that'll burn that off, and that's about right, good enough for testing this engine. That one has movement as well. Right, we can put the rocker cover back on. Can't put the rocker cover back on, as my son's just pointed out, because we haven't put the oil pipe back on. Of course, laying these bits out on a white rag, I would have noticed eventually, but it's always helpful to have somebody's help to point these things out. Just would have taken me about 5 minutes longer.
Yep.
But the cameraman always shows you your mistakes. Maybe you could edit it out afterwards.
Maybe, don't know.
Or just make me look like a fool. Now we can put the rocker cover back on. Tell you what I might do, there's a bit of crud there. Get rid of that. There. That is just emergency valve spring replacement without taking the cylinder head off. In the ideal world you would take that off, cylinder head, which means stripping all this side off, stripping all that off, take the cylinder head off. Luckily with this engine it's got individual cylinder heads, 3 of them, and you can take one off at a time. I just wanted to see whether it was possible to do that, and it is. So we can put some tools away, and in a minute we'll see it running.
Driver. What are you doing with the screwdriver?
Listening. If you put the point of the screwdriver, to the metal, to a metal object, say for instance there, put your ear to there, the sound comes up through there to your ear and you can hear what's going on. You can hear your tappets, you can hear the difference between your two tappets to see if they're loose or not. They're definitely loose because they're a lot noisier than these here, so they're definitely too loose. You can hear your injector firing off. You can listen to your detonation to see what your detonation's like in your cylinder. Down further you can listen for bearing noises and stuff like that, and it'll all come back up through the screwdriver and you'll be able to listen to it. You can buy a stethoscope and stuff, I got that at work, fancy stuff, but a screwdriver is perfectly good for listening to your engine and the internals of it. here.
Pretty good. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Everything you'll need to know about the engine will be in the description below. Again, thanks. Bye.